guys, I'm back. I was I did an embarrassing bit at the end of my last video in this series, and I just finished cutting that, and while I was waiting for it to save, I was like super hungry, so I got a ring pop out, which, was dumb, because I knew that I was gonna read this right after. But anyways, we're reading My Father is a Dark Lord by Temptresslove on AO3. This is chapter 3, and let's get right into it. For reasons Harry did not understand, he was still alive. After the ruckus with the Dark Lord Lucius and Bellatrix after all the ruckus with the Dark Lord, Lucius and Bellatrix came to the prodigious conclusion that Harry had not eaten anything yet. Only then did Harry realize that they were right, and he was actually starving. Too much had happened to him in one day. Bellatrix had insisted on buying both the best of Muggle and Wizarding for baby formula. Lucius had scoffed and offered the most high-quality nursemaid milk, TM, available in the wizarding world. In the end, Harry was put in the center of a summoning milk circle, about 40 milk bottles surrounding him on all sides, the Death Eaters forcing him to pick one. To Lucius's credit, he just wanted something natural for Harry, but a 25-year-old in a baby's body, Harry was already gagging just thinking about drinking milk that came from an actual woman's breast. With a silent apology to Lucius, Harry picks the most expensive formula Bellatrix bought, just to freak her out a bit. But the witch only clapped her hands and said, "As expected from my baby genius." Oh, crap, I was doing a thing with her last time. I'm sick. As expected from my baby genius, only the best for the blacks. Harry totally forgot that he was in front of the two of the richest families in the wizarding world, and these two backing up Lord Voldemort was probably the reason why the Dark Lord was so well funded. Excuse me, Lucius raises an eyebrow. It's his wild black hair, Bellatrix explains. All the blacks have them, and look at his cheekbones. Those are pure-blood cheekbones. I see the chubbiest cheeks I've seen in my whole life, Lucius says. Then he looks at Harry and squints. He could be a Potter. Harry's eyes widened. Yes, he was a Potter. Nah, Bellatrix says. Those eyes could never belong to a Potter. They've always been the most stunning gray. Lucius looks at her murderously, and Bellatrix claps. I mean, after the Malfoys, of course. Curse Harry's beautiful green eyes. He could have been able to go to his family, maybe even grow up with his father at least. Do you think he knows his name? He can't even talk yet, but he did say Lord Voldemort's name. Point taken. But wait, maybe, Bellatrix's face grows frighteningly excited. For once, Harry glimpses the black insanity she would become famous for in years to come. We could name him. Oh, Lucius says, nodding enthusiastically, following the witch's lead as if he was not the first commander of the Death Eaters. That's a good idea. What do you think, baby? Bella asks Harry. Uncle Lucius and Auntie Bella are going to name you. Great. He was probably going to be stuck with some stupid constellation name like Virgo or Sagittarius. Well, he kind of looks like a... Harry shuts his eyes and prays for a name. Prays they don't name him Sextons, at least. He will not tolerate having the word sex in any shape or form in his name. Harry! Harry's eyes widened. He couldn't believe it. These two idiots could actually name... I was thinking more of a Leo, Lucius shrugs. Let's call him Harry, yeah. Harry sighs in contentment and reaches for his formula to drink, to his stomach's content. That was amazing. I'm going to read 2 chapters this time as well, because they're pretty short, just like Age of Charon, and, it's kind of pointless to just, make a 4-minute video and post that, so, These are shorter than Age of Charon chapters, actually. So, yeah, chapter 4. Harry's found that being stuck in a baby's body meant that he had so much free time. Harry could count the hours that he just laid or sat there, listening to whatever it was that Lucius and Bellatrix were discussing. Games, they were always playing games, surprisingly Muggle board games, wondering how on earth these two would manage to become two of the most feared Death Eaters in the future. From what he gathered, they were pretty young, just years out of Hogwarts, maybe in their 20s, maybe even younger. They were traveling to find important artifacts, TM. But they weren't really much help, because they just followed Voldemort's orders, or how Harry now knows goes by goes by the name Tom when they were being casual with each other. It was rather cute, mostly because this Tom fellow didn't seem to mind at all, and even laughed at them every once in a while, which made him even more handsome than Harry thought was humanly possible. He didn't pay much attention to Harry, other than patting his head every once in a while. It was these long moments of just looking at them being surprisingly human that Harry had a great idea, TM. There's a lot of TMs in this book. I'm worried I'm going to get copyrighted, man. Since it was decided, at least from the looks of all the shopping that Lucius and Bellatrix did for him, that they were going to keep him, Harry, as someone who knows vaguely what will happen in the future, could maybe help the wizarding world a bit. Maybe if he could lessen the evil or save one person from their evil clutches, then he'd have made a difference. Harry had never been the hero Neville was, but he was a Gryffindor, and when bravery called, he answered. You know, I kind of wonder with, like, the way that they have this set up, why they didn't just have Neville be reincarnated. But then when I, think about it for a bit, it's because nobody would read a book that was Neville/Tom. So, I get where you're coming from. And when bravery called, he answered. It was why even when no one told him and expected him to, he fought at the battle against Lord Voldemort, why he jumped in to save Neville when they've only shared about 3 conversations before, and why he was going to do this now. He was going to use all of the adorable power given to him by his tiny baby body to change the future of the wizarding world. He looks at Lucius and Bellatrix, who are now napping and drooling on the table in front of him. Sometimes Harry didn't know who the real baby was, and Tom was nowhere to be found as well. Harry sighed. Anyway, his plan was probably take a lot of time, and it would most likely happen when he could already talk to them, at least. So for now, Harry reaches for one of the most expensive baby toys Auntie Bella had bought for him. Harry never knew that a rattle could be so entertaining. This is actually pretty great. I'm liking this a lot. Okay, so that is 7 minutes, and yeah, okay, we'll go into the next video. For me, it's just the same recording session. For you guys, maybe it's different, but probably not. I will see you in a minute. Bye!